Hello, everyone. I'm Toffic, Dapilaah, the Mill and Partnership Development Manager from Amplio. And with me is my colleague, Fentahun, the Country Director for Sasakawa Africa Associate from Ethiopia. Please, next slide. Our presentation today will center on bridging the knowledge gap for less literate farmers with the Amplio Talking Book. Our presentation today, the overview of our presentation today will center on the overview of the Amplio Talking Book technology, Sasakawa Africa Associates and Amplio Talking Book, our pilot program, major activities that were implemented, the summary of farmers that we reached, the usage statistics that were recorded from the Amplio Talking Book, the results of the end-line survey that will be used to kind of measure the impact of the program, the challenges, the lessons, and the recommendations. Thank you. So Amplio is a social and behavior change communication organization with a mission to empower the world's most vulnerable communities through knowledge sharing. We have our unique technology called the Amplio Talking Book that can be used by international organizations, local-led NGOs, government agencies, and the rest to amplify their reach to share hours of audio content on demand in the local languages. Thank you. Basically, Amplio is able to use different technologies, but the Amplio Talking Book is one of the main tools that we use to disseminate audio messages. What is the Amplio Talking Book? As you can see on your right, that's the Amplio Talking Book. It's an audio device, or let me say an audio computer that stores hours of audio content on demand in any local language of your choice. It can be programmed and reprogrammed with hours of content on any topic. That is, you can put in any topic, change it, program it to any other topic that you want to put it in. And then it has proven with programs that we've implemented the Amplio Talking Book in to be able to kind of disseminate accurate and consistent messages, varying from agriculture, health, hygiene, and other behavioral change sectors. Designed for people with low literacy and people that find it hard to read. And it's also designed in such a way that people that are visually impaired can still operate the Amplio Talking Book. So what makes the Amplio Talking Book unique? The Amplio Talking Book is unique in a sense that it's able to store the usage of the device by beneficiaries. So let's put it this way. Assume you distribute talking books to groups. How are you able to measure whether the groups even listen to the talking book messages or not? This is where the Amplio Talking Book is powerful than other tools. You're able to track per group, per community, and even per message, or even per category, how the talking book is being used. So we have various platforms that allows us to be able to kind of get all these statistics and analyze them in such a way that they'll make a meaning for beneficiaries and program people. We have what we call the Amplio Content Manager, for short, the ACM. What we use the ACM to do is that after we've recorded the content, we use the ACM to organize the messages in such a way that in a playlist. So for example, in this agri project, for example, we can have fertilizer application, we can have marketing of produce, we can have various categories, and under each category can have multiple messages. So the ACM allows us to kind of program a couple of messages under each category, or let me say under each playlist. And once we are done with that, we now build the TB loader. The TB loader is an app that can be on a computer or an Android phone that allows you for you to be able to connect it to any Amplio Talking Book device and update it into the particular content that you want. So in this instance, the content that was being given was content that was developed by Sasakawa. So that's made available through the TB loader, and beneficiaries and program people were able to use it to update talking books. And we also use the same app to collect the statistics of how the talking book is being used. Because the talking book is built to work in areas where there's limited infrastructure, it cannot be connected to, let's say, internet or some kind of wireless connection where the data comes through. So normally it stores these hours of data on the talking book device. So periodically, mostly we advise quarterly. So periodically in this project, quarterly we get in touch with the talking books, connect them to the computer, and collect those statistics to kind of see how they are being used. Once we are done with that, the Amplio talking book is also deployed for the end users to be able to listen to these messages. After they've listened to these messages, get in touch with the talking book again, collect the statistics, and they are powered to the dashboard. Once they are powered to the dashboard, that is when program people, let me say high-level people, can also have access to see how this is being used. And we have two dashboards, the one powered by Tableau, the analytics dashboard, and one that you can just extract the data in Excel form and then can process them the way you want. Thank you. See next. So basically, I'll tell you a little bit about how this partnership was formed. Then after that, my colleague will come in. This partnership started in December 2020. This is where we had, we designed the scope of the project that we want to implement, what kind of messages that we even want to give, negotiated in terms of pricing, and also advised Sasakawa how best to use the talking book for their setting. And then from there, audio messages were recorded, and that is when Amplio came in again with Sasakawa, took them to the various platforms, how you can use them. That is the ACM, the TB loader, the dashboard, and all that. In the TOT training, so that they can also take it up and also train their end users and other front offices. Then pre-implementation started. This is where we had a study to kind of measure the knowledge levels of beneficiaries to see how they are performing before the project and get a starting point before the project. The full implementation started. This is when messages on good agronomic practices were delivered and other program implementations activities were also rolled out. Then that is we had our inspection, the monitoring to kind of also see how things are going and other materials, whether they even need change. Then the program came to an end. Then we did an end line. So today, our message today is going to be mostly about the end line and the results that we're able to chop from this project. So after the end line was published, and my senior colleague, Dr. Fentahun, take charge from here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. This is Fentahun Mengistu from Sasakawa Africa Association. Sasakawa Africa Association is an international NGO which has been operating in African continent for close to 4 decades to support African governments in increasing the production and productivity and food and nutrition security, as well as the income of the farmers by catalyzing agricultural extension services and developing and creating a robust technology transfer program. Sasakawa currently has got offices in Ethiopia, Nigeria, Mali, and Uganda. And its current focus areas center around agricultural extension capacity building, pre and post-harvest production technologies, regenerative agriculture, nutrition, markets, and job creation for youth and women through supporting small and micro enterprises. So currently, Sasakawa has got 3 major pillars. One is sustainable regenerative agriculture. Second one is nutrition sensitive agriculture. Third one is market-oriented agriculture. And of course, extension to support the face-to-face extension, which I'm going to talk today. So as I talk as I present this presentation, please be reminded that I'm just in a setting where millions of farmers, for instance, in Ethiopia, and here 70 million farmers with limited literacy level, limited or no electric infrastructure, with no or limited connection, and as well as with no digital device like smartphones. So under such a setting, we really piloted this talking book in collaboration with Amplio. So I want to try to answer in this presentation whether this talking book led to a better engagement or attendance of the farmers, whether which extension message actually generated the most engagement, and I will also try to look at whether the talking book technology help farmers acquire knowledge and skill from the different messages extended. And of course, I will also wind up with lessons and a recommendation. So this pilot program has been undertaken in 2 regions of Ethiopia, Oromia and Central Ethiopia, in 2 districts and 4 villages, what we call them kabales. And what we did was we organized farmers in these 4 villages we organized 28 groups of 25 to 30 members per group. So we had a total of 28 groups, and that summed up about 840 to smallholder farmers as our host to undertake this study. So our objective was to reach about close to 7,000 household members through this program. So we did pass through different stages as we piloted this program. Initially, we did a baseline survey with 320 responders farmers, as well as 16 extension agents. Then we did an awareness creation program, different levels. And then we demonstrated and provided the Amplio talking book devices, as you might see on the left side of this picture. Next was training. We had to give intensive training for extension agents. We have managed to train more than 150 extension agents. And then this training was cascaded to the final beneficiaries, the users, that is the farmers. So a total of 776 farmers were trained and demonstrated practically how to use it, including the group dynamics. Out of this, like a quarter of them, 1/3 of them were female farmers. So we had 3 deployments. Deployments means we upload these devices and provide to the farmers or our treatments. So we developed 3 to 8 minutes of audio materials on good agricultural practices in 2 languages, Amharic and Oromo language. A total of 16 messages were produced in these 2 languages in regenerative agriculture, with 32 instructions or prompts how to use the equipment. The second one was on nutrition, but we had 8 messages with 16 prompts. And we had also another 8 messages on market-oriented agriculture with 16 instructions. So a total of about 46 system prompts have been produced and operational instructions were given. So as you might see in the deployment one was done during production season. So all the messages were about land preparation, soil fertility management, pest and disease management, weed management, etc. The second deployment was done during crop maturity and at the time of harvesting. So the message also deal about harvesting equipment, threshing, storage technologies. And the third and final deployment was done again around post-harvest season. So in this case, about saving, about business plans preparation, enterprise development, market linkage. All these have been deployed in the, included in the third message in this deployment. And again, we had also a quality check. We had to go to the field and see how farmers are using, what challenges they face, and we have to backstop both the farmers and extension agents. By the way, the extension agents are the one who also follow up when farmers use the talking booths occasionally. So by doing this, our reach was actually, we have been able to reach close to 10,000 farmers, 4,500 of them were directly reached. That means these are the talking book use groups, members of these groups, but some of these farmers have also borrowed the Amplio, the group Amplio book, talking book, and took it to their homes and listened the message with their household members. Totally, we have managed to reach about 10,000 households. Now, this was coming to the results. Initially, in the baseline, we had a total of 842 population, out of which we had sampled 320 farmers in the baseline. So we managed to retrieve 92% of the original respondents who answered the questions at the baseline. We retrieved them at the end line. So we have 92% of those farmers. Now, looking at was the TB, the talking book, used as intended? Now, one of the indicators is actually how many hours was the talking book played. So what we found out was, on average, each talking book was listened or played about 7 hours on average. This was about 5 hours in deployment 1, and it decreases to about 1.5 hours in deployment 2, and about 1 hour in deployment 3. Well, this might be, I think, the reason might be farmers may have more preference for production level message, production season message, but it's also possible that when new technologies are introduced, farmers are eager to listen to, eagerly to new interventions. The next point is which message topics were generated the most engagement? Which message have motivated farmers? So in deployment 1, we found out that the disease management had the most completions, followed by insect pest management. I would like to tell you here that when we say completions, farmers may complete 1/4 way, they may complete halfway, or they may complete 3/4 of the total message. So this, what I'm presenting, is total completions. So for different reasons, the farmers might stop at halfway, 1/3, and so on. But in this case, in disease control and management, the farmers had most completions, or they played the talking books more on disease management. I think this might be logical because farmers usually face pests and diseases in their farming endeavor. The next in the deployment 2 was harvesting. Harvesting, again, had nearly 3 times as many completions as other messages. In the third case, third deployment, business plan preparation had attracted farmers compared to other interventions like market linkage, enterprise development. So the main topics that are generated the most engagement are disease management, harvesting, and that related to business plan preparation. The next is, did the talking book led to better engagement or motivation to come together and to listen? So our findings show that from 70 to 89% of the farmers in different villages, they agreed or strongly agreed that they learned something new from using the talking book, and the talking book actually motivated them to come together. You can see from these figures, it differs from village to village, but more than 70% of the farmers agreed that the talking book actually led them to a better engagement and motivated them. This has been also testified by extension agents who have been facilitating this intervention. 65% of the extension agents also testified that farmers were actually actively participating and engaged in most of the group discussion times. The next thing what we want to see is whether there is actually a knowledge improvement between the baseline and end line. So we chose 2 of the technologies that had most completion, that's integrated pest management and soil fertility management. As you might see here, at the baseline, some 40% of the farmers had reported no or little knowledge of pest management, especially integrated pest management at the baseline. This has decreased to about 8% in the end line. And again, the extension agents who have been facilitating had also been trained on this IPM. So they also said at the baseline, only 7% were, about 25% of the DS, the OM extension agents were saying we had little or no knowledge of IPM, but at the end line, almost all agents were testifying that they have a good knowledge of IPM. The second one was actually on soil fertility management. And again, at the baseline, 60% of the farmers reported no or little knowledge of integrated soil fertility management. But at end line, this has dropped to 25%. So again, this means that the farmers' knowledge has improved because of the use of talking booths and the message they learned through this device. Similarly, the extension agents who had reported to have little or no knowledge of integrated fertility management were 18%. But at the end line, most of the extension agents reported that they have a good knowledge of this integrated fertility management. Now, we want to correlate if whether the frequency of talking book use is correlated with the farmer's knowledge. So as you might see here, in terms of integrated management, when farmers, those farmers who reported, they use the talking book every time they meet, like 107 farmers, as you might see in the first figure, they have a very good knowledge of, like 43% had a very good knowledge, good or to very good knowledge. That means the more the frequency is of the talking book, the more knowledge the farmers had. And again, similarly, in terms of soil fertility management, farmers who used frequently the talking books as they meet had a very good knowledge of integrated soil fertility management, as you might see from these figures. And similar result is in terms of harvesting. Again, farmers who used talking book more frequently had a better or a good and a very good knowledge of the harvesting technologies and practices. So overall, what I would like to tell you that extension agents have reflected this way. I said the talking book adoption of helped the adoption of good agriculture approach by individual farmers. It has, even they say, farmers have not taken it upon themselves to compile list of questions in the extension agent's absence, which they bring forward during their meetings with extension agents. And again, the extension agents said farmers are motivated to attend in groups. It encouraged group activities. It also helped farmers gain new knowledge and skills. And they said the talking booth can be likened to having almost an extra staff member at our disposal because it lowered or reduced the burden of the extension agents. Again, from the farmer side, they said the talking book provides us the flexibility to learn at our convenient time in our houses or in holidays or during evening or in the morning, rather than structured training to extension agents convened at a certain central place. They also said it reduced the need for frequent support from extension agents. Even some farmers were explaining why do we need actual extension agents? It's not representative of all farmers, but they feel it that way. And they also said it promoted collaborative learning and mutual support, whereas it also fosters social cohesion. So towards the end, in fact, in piloting this program, there were some challenges. One challenge was improper handling and navigation of the talking booths by few farmers. And of course, issue of battery life was reported. So I think it implies that we need to have actually a solar capability for this device. Well, in terms of lessons learned, the talking book offers a cost-effective and sustainable solution for farmers with literacy skills and no access to mobile devices in areas without telecom networks and critical electric grid infrastructure. It also boosted farmers' drive to active group learning and interaction. It also eases the extension agent's workload and complements the face-to-face extension. It doesn't replace, but it helps to complement face-to-face extension by providing consistent content and ensuring equal access to knowledge. It also helped labeling the farmers' knowledge and promoted equity among the different farmers, including women farmers. In fact, it also facilitated cross-checking of field reporters. When we receive field reporters physically, we can also cross-check using these devices. As a recommendation, what we say or recommend is utilizing of technical technology stands out as a valuable semi-digital solution that caters to the needs of the farmers with limited literacy. And therefore, it's imperative to expand its reach and disseminate knowledge to less literate farmers residing in underserved areas in Africa. So this is what we have. Thank you very much.